So, great news. The Royal Court is officially back open. It's going to be open for Christmas, a show with a little bit of a difference. And it's funny because I'm used to getting press releases from the Royal Court like every few weeks announcing what show is to come. None have landed in the inbox this year for obvious reasons. One did yesterday, and I had to get Iain Christie on to talk about it. He's developed a skinhead since we last spoke. Iain Christie from the Royal Court, how are we, mate?
I'm very well, thanks. I'm glad you like my lockdown do.
It looks good. It does. Let's start from the beginning with the Royal Court, because we haven't caught up yet. In March, you had so many great shows ready to go. You had one on stage, which was Pete Price is Dead. What's it been like since? Just kind of talk us through that journey, Iain.
Well, it's been, same for everybody. It's been slightly chaotic, but what we found is how great the audience have been all the way through, because you're right, we had a show on stage. We just opened Pete Price is Dead, and we had another 3 or 4 shows lined up all the way through the year. And we've had to slowly move each one into next year. We moved Pete Price down to October. That should actually be on now, because we all thought, like everyone else, we thought, well, we'll get through these 6 weeks and, in a couple of months, everything will be back to normal. But we've moved that. We moved You'll Never Walk Alone, which would have been on while Liverpool were winning the title. So we've moved that to next April in the hope that Liverpool will be winning the title again. Sorry to any Evertonians out there. And we moved Mamma Mia, which was the big summer musical show. We've moved that to next summer. So really, it's been like the upside is it's been a bonus for the programming department. They've just sort of cut and paste this year into next year. For us, really, we've had to furlough a lot of staff. We've managed to keep all our staff and keep them all paid, which is brilliant. But it's been quite tough, and we reached a point where we thought that the furlough scheme runs out at the end of this month, and it wasn't looking too good for us in terms of keeping things going after that. But then we were lucky enough, we got some money from the Culture Recovery Fund, which the government set up. The news of that came through last Monday, and there was a lot of very, very relieved people, in the arts across the country, but in Liverpool and at the Royal Court particularly. Unfortunately, we got almost all the money that we asked for, a little bit less, but, can't complain. It was certainly plenty to keep us going. Now, that's brilliant news for us because Plan A, we can go ahead, we can produce shows, we can employ staff, we can employ actors, directors, set builders, front of house staff, box office staff, and obviously all the suppliers to the venue, so the people who supply our ice creams, the people who supply the food and drink, that print the programmes. It's a real sort of us being able to function. So we've announced the first show, which will be our Christmas show. And then we've got a couple more up our sleeve, which we hope to be able to announce in the next month or so.
Okay, it's great to hear, mate. We'll talk the Christmas show in just a little bit. In terms of obviously staff, you furloughed a load of the staff, which is great. It's great that you mentioned suppliers as well. Something like Pete Price is Dead. I seen the set bill for that, and you've got a great place just outside the city centre where you build the sets, where you store the costumes. That was kind of wasted, wasn't it? Will that just go back into storage? Is it still on stage? What happens when you're in the middle of a run and all of a sudden it's just cut dead?
Well, the long-term plan for Pete Price is Dead is that, we know it's coming back next year, so that set's just gone into storage. But for a long time, it was just sitting on stage. It was quite spooky, really, Jay. We go back into the building, and there's this empty set that hasn't had anyone set foot on it for months, and it was quite. It was quite a spooky thing to have it sat there. For Pete Price is Dead, certainly, the set's been mothballed and it'll be ready to be wheeled out again when the show comes back.
Have we got a contingency in? Because obviously you're talking another 12 months here. The show is called Pete Price is Dead. I'm very good friends with Pete Price. 12 months is a long time for a man of his age. What would happen if the title came true in that time?
I'm telling on you, Jay. I'm telling him. I'm saying that you don't believe that Pete Price is immortal.
When he is, yeah, we know that as fact, to be fair.
No, we did actually say before, it was Leanne, in fairness. Leanne was going to try and get him to sit down and record the video saying, if the worst happens and I die before the show is produced, it has my blessing, it could still go ahead. So Yeah, I'm not sure if we've got that video just yet, but if you're watching, Pete, we'll be onto you for that.
I'm looking forward to that. So that's in October. Some big shows to come. We got to talk Christmas, mate. It's brilliant to see. You're famous now for these Christmas shows in Liverpool. We had big plans this year, didn't we, at the Royal Court? You've adapted them, you've changed them. Tell us about the selection box.
Yeah, everyone knows the big Royal Court Scouse Christmas show. Loads of actors on stage, loads of music, loads of comedy, sort of chaotic fun. Now, this year, we're going to have to trim it down a little bit because of all the social distancing regs. So we're only going to have, I think it's about 6, maybe 7 on stage. We've got the live band, though. We've got the great music. And we've got all of the cast that we usually have. People like Drew Schofield, Lindsay Germain, Ethna Brown, Roy Brandon, and the Fletcher brothers, Hayley and Jamie, Mickey Stark. Everyone's coming in, and it's brilliant. But what we're doing is because we're aware that if somebody catches coronavirus, we'd have to stand the whole cast down. We're sort of swapping people over each night. So you might watch it in week 1 and it'll be a certain cast, and then in week 2 it'll be a different cast, and so on and so forth. And that's really to make sure that we can always have a show on. We're going to be testing the cast every night and making sure that it's secure. For the audience, we've put in loads of different COVID-safe practicalities, like the social distancing, temperature checks, anti-backing, everything, more cleaning procedures. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. It's going to be a little bit different, but you know what happens when that cast get on stage and start having fun. And I think that's what a lot of people come for. The audience have the most fun when the cast are having fun. And they'll be on. They're fantastic. They're funny people. They're brilliant musicians. They're brilliant singers. And once we get that combination on stage, it's going to be something good in 2020. I didn't think you'd be saying this in March, but the next time you're going to have a laugh is when you come to the Royal Court Christmas show.
But you can imagine those actors and actresses that you've got there at the Royal Court. If anyone is going to not make light of this year, but put a smile on our face at the end of such a terrible year.
So many people come to us after a Christmas show or after any of our shows, and they'll say things like, "Oh, I haven't laughed that hard in so long. I've been having a miserable time, but I came out and this is it." And we always say, come to the Royal Court, forget your worries. We're not going to lecture you about this, that, and the other. We're not, come out and just enjoy yourself. And I think that's what everybody needs. And this show, because we've got a limited number of tickets, we've got a restricted number of tickets. I'm expecting the whole run to be sold out before it starts. It's going to be crazy. So people need to book in and just come and laugh and enjoy and forget about everything that's going on outside of those doors. We'll keep you safe in the Royal Court. Come into us.
The actors, Iain, have had a really tough time this year. Self-employed actors, no support at all. There's lots of campaigns going. But what's the reaction been your end?
I mean, it's been incredibly tough. We've been very lucky within the theatre, the staff in the theatre, because the furlough scheme and the way things were set up, we were okay. We had to work from home. It was difficult, but the support was there. For freelancers, I mean, the government's ignored such a huge chunk. And for years and years, the government have encouraged people to be freelancers, to be flexible, to go and, you can have this and you have this tax break and you have that tax break if you go freelance. And then when something like this hits, to wash the hands of a whole sector is just ridiculous. So we're so glad to be able to put a show on. And one of the reasons for the rotating cast, or one of the benefits of having the rotating cast, is we can employ so many more people. And you talk about the actors, it is the actors, it's also the designers, it's the directors, the sound, techs, everybody. So being able to offer some work is a huge benefit.
Okay, well listen, seriously, check it out. If anyone can bring a little bit of light relief to the end of 2020, then it's the cast at the Royal Court and the Royal Court Theatre. Book your food, you can eat, you can drink if you are eating, and keep up to date on the Royal Court's website. Iain Christie, thank you so much. We look forward to the selection box. What's the date and everything we need?
It starts on the 20th of November and runs through until the 9th of January. So you can get your tickets from royalcourtliverpool.com and get yourself booked in for a night of fun.